So M. Night Shyamalan is back with his newest movie, Trap. And I know everybody is wondering, is this top tier M. Night or is this mid tier M. Night? Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and today I'm going to give you a spoiler-free review for Trap. I just got out of seeing it. I'm sitting down. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. And again, especially with a Shyamalan movie, it's important to not get spoiled, so I'm not going to spoil this for you. If you have not seen it, you can continue to watch. Now, Trap stars Josh Hartnett, Allison Pill, and Suleika Shyamalan. Now, the plot of Trap is very simple. There is a serial killer that roams the suburbs of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and this big pop star concert is being used to draw this serial killer in because they have reason to believe he will be there. That's the plot of the movie. That really is it. And without getting into any more detail, that's all I'm going to say. Now, I want to get my pros for this movie out of the way first. It's what I like to always do. First and foremost, Josh Hartnett. This may be the best performance I've ever seen this guy give. And that's not to say he's not a good actor, because I do like Josh. I mean, I'm a Halloween fan. I like him in H2O. I like him in Pearl Harbor. I like Josh Hartnett. This, I think, might be the best thing I've ever seen him do. He plays this, delightfully creepy, OCD psychopath while also being a loving dad that at times you think means well. So well. I can't believe how well he pulls it off. I didn't know that Hartnett had it in him. When his moments of psychopathy are on screen, it's so believable. It doesn't seem like somebody that's like, oh my gosh, this guy was totally miscast. No, he is incredible in this movie. So I've got to give a shout out there. I really like the sound design and the score for this movie. Not so much the original songs that they did for this. No offense to Shyamalan's daughter. She acts in this movie and she plays the pop star, but it's just not really my thing. But the score and the sound design is really, really good. It's definitely leaning more into trying to be suspenseful and build up tension. There's a lot of usage of strings and whatnot. I noticed that and I appreciated that. Also, I want to say the second half of this movie, I think is actually really strong. There's some nice twists and turns, and I thought I knew what was happening at multiple points, and then I was kind of surprised. That was really nice to see because I really did not want to sit through a movie that I could see everything coming a mile away. Now, I've got to get into the cons for this movie. And the cons for this movie, there are a few. First and foremost, guys, and maybe this is just me being an old man now, screaming at a cloud, whatever, but the beginning of this movie, the first half hour or so of this movie, it's hard to get into. There were moments of secondhand embarrassment that I was getting. It was really cringe. Some of it it didn't feel real. It didn't feel lived in. It was very, very much, I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I was sitting in the theater and I was like, oh, this is corny. So it takes a little while to get going. I definitely prefer the second half of this movie to the first half. And I think that the trailer does a nice job of not showing you too much. There's a lot to this movie. And I think that the stuff that the trailer shows you might actually be some of the weakest stuff in the movie, in my opinion. I also didn't really care for Suleika Shyamalan in this movie. I just didn't think she was convincing. I didn't think that anytime she was supposed to display fear or toughness, I just didn't really get it from her. I don't know. She just wasn't commanding the screen for me. When Hartnett's on screen, it really comes across. And he can carry scenes that, especially in the first half of the movie, that are at times much weaker. He can carry those by himself, even if there is a, middling performance on screen with him. But when Suleika Shyamalan is asked to really deliver, I just didn't get it. I didn't feel it there. Also, this is one of those movies that I hate that it has a PG-13 rating. Now, I will say it does play well as a psychological thriller. It does keep you guessing. It's smart. It definitely is smart. There are moments throughout where you're like, oh, that was interesting. Oh, nice thinking on your feet there. And then there are moments where it's just like, this could have been so much more had you leaned into it. There's just moments that are clearly sanitized, and I just hated that because when you get these moments of tension and whatnot and you're really looking for that payoff, you don't necessarily get it sometimes because the movie isn't willing to go there. Also, another con I have for this movie, and this happens oftentimes in some of Shyamalan's weaker movies, is he's really going for a certain message and a certain theme, and he usually picks one per movie, or he has a few that he juggles with each movie. Sometimes it's even visually represented on screen. I'm not going to get into what that is, but It pops up a few times throughout this movie, and it's so on the nose. I didn't need it. We all got that. We got it from this character. We got it from what the FBI director is saying. We didn't need this really kind of corny, weird, like visual representation continually popping up on screen throughout the movie. Sometimes I feel like M. Night Shyamalan is his own worst enemy because he doesn't know sometimes how to just pull back. When Shyamalan is at his best, he's not totally going full weird. And there are moments in this movie where he's starting to go in that direction a little bit. Look, at the end of the day, Trap is a very mixed bag for me. While I think some of the performances are really strong, I like the sound design, I quite liked the second half of the movie, and I did find it quite smart. There's also a lot of meandering in this movie. There's also some performances that don't give you what you need. It's way too sanitized. It's definitely a little bit too long, and I just don't think it really nailed what it was really trying to go for there. Or maybe it was. And if that's the case, well, it just wasn't good enough. Overall, I would give Trap 3 out of 5. It is above average for me. It's a movie I'd probably watch again solely because I loved Josh Hartnett in this movie. I absolutely loved him in this movie. But aside from that, I just don't know if I'd ever find myself revisiting this movie. So if I had to put this in a tier for Shyamalan, it's mid-tier Shyamalan. And that's what I said on Twitter when I initially walked out of the theater. This is nowhere near Signs or The Sixth Sense or Split, but it's also not the bottom of the barrel like Old. So this one sits right in the middle there. I think if you're a Shyamalan fan, you're going to like it. I think you'll find it to be good enough, but it really could have been a lot better. Now, having said that, if he wants to continue to play in this sandbox and take some of these criticisms to heart and maybe try to mold it into a better follow-up film, I'm all for it. But we'll wait and see on that. So I want to know down below in the comment section what you guys think. Did you see Trap? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Discuss it down below for me. Please leave a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.